Hi everyone, here's another video of me talking about some gear. This is a video I did not want to make, but alas I have to. We all know the vlogging setup that Casey Neistat has popularized. Well, he pioneered. And to vlog like Casey, typically you have one of these bad boys, you know, the Gorillapod. You bend it out like this, attach the camera to it. You have a standard zoom or a ultra wide zoom lens. You would have a mic on top as well, but I'm using that as my secondary audio for this clip. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just point the camera to yourself, talk, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you got the flip out screen with my GH5, I do. And fine and dandy. But for the Gorillapod itself, I have one little issue, well, a big issue. The Gorillapod is right here, right? It's just a ball head with some bendable legs. And you see right here, there's a little mount. There's a button for it. You press the button, it releases the mount that goes on top of your camera. So here, press the button, release, and you're good. Press the button, release. But what I found was, if you do it a very certain way, you can release the camera from the tripod without pressing the button. Look here. Saw that? I'll do it one more time. So if you pull along the angle, along the path of the mount, you can take it off quite easily, as I can show you right here as I'm talking, without pressing the button at all. And guess how I know that? I was using it like this, and then when I swung it a little bit, the camera followed along that angle, flew out of my hands and into the ground. And we'll head upstairs in a second. My lens is broken. I had a 7-14 Panasonic lens on there, and the camera and the lens flew straight into the ground. My heart did stop. Yes, it did. There's an integrated lens hood on the lens, so the lens hood protected the glass itself, but the lens hood is permanently damaged. And unfortunately, since it's integrated, I can't replace the lens hood. And who is the fault? Gorillapod. Why is it that this camera setup that is about 3 pounds, the tripod is rated for 6 pounds, why is it that that's it? You can take it off without pressing the release. And what happened was I did this, and it came off, hit the ground. I have hardwood floors, so it definitely took a tumble. So I cannot recommend using your camera with the Gorillapod. My camera setup is about half of the rated weight limit, and still, it hit the ground, and I'm lucky the camera wasn't destroyed. I'm lucky the lens wasn't destroyed. It's only permanently marred, and I have lost money because I can't resell it, but at least I can still use my gear. But would I recommend the vlogging tripod to anyone else? No, I definitely would not recommend it. I have a few options, alternatives. There was one tripod I usually use, which is a Sirui 3T5K. That is a tripod that extends and has a ball head, so it can still be used as a vlogging setup. Or I would suggest using one of these Manfrotto Pixies. They work really well because they're compact. You screw it in so it won't be falling out. Surprise outfit change. I finally found the tripod that I was looking for. The Sirui 3T35K, I believe. So this is it. Right there. Looks like a normal tabletop tripod. You open up the legs, lock it, and it sits like that. But it also extends. Get more length, pull down the legs, and you have a great vlogging setup. It has a very similar ball head, but this ball head has a different mounting option. I'll show you right here. It uses an Arca Swiss. I have the Peak Design Arca Swiss plate, so I can use it with my Peak Design gear. Slides in. There's a little button that comes up as a safety, so it can't slide forward. It kind of just locks itself. Screw it in tight, and there you go. Well, let me lock this in. Get a great vlogging setup. Extra long reach. So you can actually get more length out of your lens. So if you compare this top full length compared to the Joby, you can see it's quite a bit longer. It's off the screen. Let's do it sideways. Yeah. So that's great extra length. And when compared to the Pixie, Manfrotto Pixie, you see you can get a lot more length out of this tripod. I definitely recommend this tripod out of all of them because of the versatility. It can go short like this, and it can extend all the way. Also, it's pretty secure. There's one drawback that even when you tighten this all the way, you can kind of bend the ball head a little bit. So if you have a heavier setup, it might move when you have it extended, but it won't fall out. No product is perfect, but this is my recommendation, my preference. I'm gonna go back to using this. The unfortunate thing though, is that because the legs are at the bottom, you can't get that low angle shot like you would be able to with the Gorillapod. Like this shot is not possible with the Series. By the way, this is still a pretty light tripod. Metal build, not too heavy duty. It's lasted me a long time. I've dropped it a few times, just the tripod, no camera inside, and it's held up great. So my recommendation, do not use a Gorillapod, use this bad boy. So before grabbing the pitchforks, I wanted to double check to see if my Gorillapod was faulty. I have one of these old Focus, I believe it's a Focus, the standard Gorillapod ball heads. I attached the ball head, I attached the mount, and it took a lot more effort to remove the camera. I'll show you right now. I'm now back. I've attached the old ball head to the Gorillapod 3K, and I've attached the old plate to the Gorillapod 3K. Connect it. Now same action as before. You press the button to release, right? Press button to release. And let's try releasing it without the button. As you can see, I'm trying to pull in the same direction as the mount and the plate, and it's not coming off. I can still do it if I find the right angle. It takes a lot more force, but I'm much more comfortable using that. But still, the fact that that's still possible leads me to believe that these products are not that reliable. So I still wouldn't recommend them if you value the safety of your gear. I will show you how this gets mounted with a Manfrotto Pixie. So take this off. So the benefit of the Gorillapod is you can bend it and it gives you a little bit more length. And they're also a little bit taller than these Manfrotto Pixies. Here's it attached. Press the ball head. And let's make sure it's secure. Here you go. Now I have a vlogging setup and it works just the same. Of course, the length is not as long, so you don't get as far out to see more, but use a wider lens or something like that, or just get used to the framing. I'd much rather have security over a broken camera and lens. Would I recommend Gorillapod products? No. I would not recommend them if you're using them for vlogging. If you're going to use them in an axis where they're like this, actually, even if you're hanging it off to something, it could just as easily fall out this way. So that is my video on the Gorillapod and why I do not recommend it for vlogging or really any kind of use. If you are really adamant on using it, I would avoid the 3K model. Check the ball head, make sure it's secure. I'll be contacting Joby to see if it's some kind of manufacturing defect. I do have a permanently damaged lens, unfortunately for me, so I'll have to figure that out. And if you like the video, please leave a like. And if you like seeing these tech review kind of videos, I'll be doing more. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to make sure you get the emails for my video updates. Thank you for watching. See you next time.